All right. And thank you, good people, for hanging into this episode of the Real Leaders Podcast with Carey Nieuwhof. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Now it's time to open up the floor for a few questions. And now, Carey, you may have already answered this. Maybe elaborate on this question that's coming from Julie. She asks,
Yeah.
for young leaders today, what advice could you give them to steer clear from and why? On the flip side, what do you think they should gravitate towards?
So, Julie, love your question. If you're a young leader, I'm going to assume under 40, let's say you're in your 20s. When I was in my 20s, we didn't have social media, and that was a great advantage because basically you could keep your head down and pay attention to things. I think one of the great distractions, and I coach a lot of young leaders, is you can be so tempted to have instant success. You know, I want 100,000 followers on Instagram. I want to be running a 7-figure organization by the time I'm 25. And that happens once in a while. But that is often a byproduct of something else, right?
Sure.
Now, if you look at the data, most 12-year-olds want to be YouTubers. It's like, yeah, that's possible, but what I would say is focus on the core values. What are you best at? Where can you make a contribution? You know, hustle hard, know your boundaries, and don't get burned out. And just focus on doing really, really great work. And then eventually what happens is you have a story to tell. Eventually what happens is you can start helping other people. But as a young leader, what you really want to be doing is honing your skill set and not worrying about the outward success. And then on the flip side, you ask, what do you think they should gravitate towards? I think you should gravitate toward really getting your character developed. If you ever get a platform, because most young leaders I talk to want a platform. They want to start a podcast. They want to write a book. They want, to be an influencer on TikTok or Instagram. I would focus on your character. So yeah, we do have a lot of leaders who follow us right now. I was telling a friend earlier today, if that had happened to me when I was 30, I don't think I would have the character to sustain it. I might have imploded my marriage. It might have gone straight to my head. Not that that's not a temptation now. And so I would really develop your character, because your character has to be bigger than your platform, because if it's not, it will implode. What do you do to develop your character? I think that's a spiritual, emotional, and relational thing, where spirituality, whatever that looks like for you, for me, it's my faith. I really have to chisel away at that and let scripture and prayer and God's direction shape my character, so that I am off screen who I appear to be on screen, that I'm better to my wife than I am to the people who read or listen to me. Because often what happens is the people closest to you take the brunt of your leadership. So I'm really nice on this podcast, but then I run upstairs and yell at everybody in the house. That's not good. That's not good. So you want the people closest to you to have the best experience of you. You want your private walk to match your public talk. So I think that is what I would gravitate toward.
Very well put. Another one comes in from Malin. She asks, have you put any routines into place in your life? If so, which have been the most beneficial?
Probably the most beneficial. And I got a copy of the book. It comes out in September. It's called At Your Best. You can see green, yellow, and red. I would think of dividing your day into green, yellow, and red zones. So what I mean by that is ask yourself the question, when are you best? So let's pick on Kevin for a second. Morning person, night owl. What are you, Kevin?
Morning person.
Morning person. Okay. What hours? Like 5 a.m., 7 a.m.? When are you kind of alive and producing great stuff?
Up at 5:30, and I get a workout in at 6:15. So I'm probably set, ready to go around 7:15, 7:30.
So you're rolling by 7:15, 7:30?
Yeah.
Okay. What I would do, that is what I would call your green zone. That's when your brain is fresh. If you're going to prep for an interview or write something, that's probably when you're at your best. Most leaders only have 3 to 5 hours to do that every day. And that's like science. It's like you don't have 17 best hours, because you get tired, you're caffeinated by the afternoon, and, you're kind of dragging your knuckles. You can't think clearly. So that's your green zone, your best hours, 3 to 5 in a day. Red zone is when you're dragging your knuckles. You can't think straight. You're tired. Usually we have 1 or 2 hours. Mine is in the afternoon. What would yours be? That time where you're like, oh, I need a nap or I got to go for a walk or something.
Yeah, around like that 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
3 p.m. time. So I do usually do emails around then.
That's smart.
All I can
Okay.
do. Yeah.
And then yellow zone is everything in between. The mistake a lot of leaders make is they don't know the different zones. And what they do is they do their most important work haphazardly. So my most important work is content, prepping for interviews, writing a book, writing a talk, a speech, that kind of thing, writing a blog. That's my most important work because it generates everything else. I need to do that in the morning. And what happens is if I waste my green zone, I'm a morning person too, then I end up in a place where, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and gosh, I got to have that talk ready. It's due tomorrow and I'm flying out in the morning, and you cram it in. So do that when you're at your best. And that's where you start to see exponential results.
Carey, well put. And where can people find more information about this book, At Your Best, as well as all your courses online?
Totally. So the gateway right now is at yourbesttoday.com to the book. And we have everything there for you, including some free resources, and you'll get free access to a masterclass that I'm teaching if you pre-order the book. So that's at yourbesttoday.com. And otherwise, go to CareyNieuwhof.com. You'll find it all there.
Wonderful. All right, folks, at yourbest.com. Carey, appreciate your time coming on the Real Leaders podcast today. It was a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Wonderful. For Carey Nieuwhof, I'm Kevin Ellers, asking you to go out there and always, folks, keep it real.